All right, well, welcome everyone to our first webinar out of the new office. It's our Healthy for the Holidays, the COVID Winter Part 2. I'm excited to go through this here with you as we get into the winter months coming up here. I want to make sure that we do everything in our power here in the office, in our community, to boost our health and to do everything we can to just prepare our bodies as we start getting into the winter months here. So I think it's important to talk about. And I also think that the temperature is a little bit different this time around versus last year. Last year, there's so much fear and uncertainty with COVID and the pandemic. And although that's still there a bit, I definitely feel like, people have turned a little bit of a corner, being that so much more is open this year as opposed to last year. But still, it's important to talk about everything that we can do to boost our immune system, whether we're talking about COVID or influenza or any other of the 100 viruses that are circulating our globe at any point here. So I know that time is precious. I know that we're all busy, so we're going to make this quick, but we're also going to make it effective here too. I want you to have something to take away from this. And then at the end, I also want to invite you to join us for a 3-week health Kickstarter or reset or challenge, call it whatever you want, that we're going to be starting on Monday, the day after Halloween, so November 1st here. So stay tuned. We'll talk a little bit about that. How do I go through here? Nope. Let's see. Okay, so for those of you that do not know me, my name is Dr. Austin Jones. I'm a chiropractor over in Morgan Hill, California, called Momentum Chiropractic. You can see the contact information right there. There's my email, phone number, and website. If you have any questions, please email me. I'd love to have the conversation. If you agree with things on here, if you disagree, I always like having conversations with people about our approaches to health and how we can all grow together. So there's that right there. And this is here what I want to share with you. So our purpose. Why do we do these classes sometimes? Why do why do we take the time? Why are you even listening? And why should anybody care what we have to say? Our underlying purpose is that we don't want to just treat disease and manage stress. We want to build health. And so what I'm not going to talk about in this webinar are things like vaccines. I'm not going to talk about masks. I'm not going to talk about distancing or the shutdowns that we've experienced over the last, year and a half, 2 years here. Agree or disagree with any of that stuff. I want you to understand that, vaccines don't build health in the body. Masks don't build health in the body. The incessant washing of our hands and the cleaning of surfaces, all that is intended to reduce illness or to prevent illness or reduce severity of illness as well. And I want you to understand there's a very big difference between trying to reduce stress and trying to reduce the severity of illness. There's a big difference between that and building health in the body. Okay, so again, agree or disagree. I'm not going to talk about any of that stuff right now. I'm focusing on building health in the body, stuff that I think some of our health officials should have been talking about from the beginning. But we want to build health in our body just as much as we want to manage the stress here as well. Okay, I put the definition of health on here. It's not just the absence of disease and infirmity. It's the presence of physical, mental, and social well-being. So again, it's not just health is not just the absence of the negative stuff, it's the presence of all the positive stuff. So we want to be in good balance there, okay? Because I believe that we can have a community that is free of unnecessary drugs and unnecessary surgeries that aren't taking a bunch of antidepressants to be happy. And I believe that we can have the quality of life that we are intended to have. We just need to do the right things to get there. Okay, so again, the big underlying goal or purpose here is not just to manage stress, it's to create health in the body. Because the greatest gift that you can give your family is a healthy you. And nobody's going to care about your health more than you. So I want you to walk out of here feeling empowered and feeling confident that you have the power and the ability to radically transform your health and to be a better version of yourself here as well. Okay. So here is my reality check depressing slide here, because it's just a slide full of just gross statistics here. I'm just going to go through these here with you real quick. More than 1 in 10 people are on antidepressants. 10% of our community at any given point. And that's actually increased over the last, this is an old stat, that's actually increased over the last year and a half during a time where, everyone's scared about their health or scared about their jobs. And that use, antidepressant use, has actually increased 400% over the past 20 years. 1 in 3 people are diabetic or pre-diabetic, and 1 in 2 men or 1 in 3 women can be expected to be diagnosed with cancer at some point in their life. That is a scary statistic. That could also be expressed as 44% of people. And, that's one of those things that there's so many lifestyle causes of cancer in the body that I want to focus on things that actually work towards preventing it from happening in the first place here as well. And I think a lot of that just is under discussed. 1/3 of U.S. adults are obese. This number is rising, and 600,000 people die of heart disease every single year in the United States. Heart disease and cancer are still number 1 and 2 as far as most common causes of death in the United States. And I believe that a lot of those are very preventable by doing simple lifestyle changes or little lifestyle habits that build health in the body. And those are the things that I want to talk about here. Okay, so this is what's going on. This is the reality in which we live here, and I want you, and I want myself, our families, our communities to live above the average and above the status quo here. Because if we're not doing anything different than what the general population is doing, why can we expect to have a different result, right? So let's get into this here. So as we get into the holiday season here, let's look at what the holidays actually are. So, mid-October to mid-January, it's like 3-month period of this amorphous time where everyone just kind of starts living in this period of vacation mode. But if we look at it, the holidays are really, we got Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever holiday you celebrate, or maybe none during this time. The holidays are really just a few days. It's not this 3-month period of debauchery, but that's what happens. And that's, we live in this vacation mode for during this time. And then throughout the year, you add in birthdays, anniversaries, gatherings, other different things. We're looking at about 25% of our year in vacation mode. And full, transparency and disclosure here, I'm not sitting here saying that I'm not guilty of this as well. I am. And so I'm talking to myself just as much as I am you during this talk here, so that we all can live above average as well. Not necessarily trying to be perfect, because no one's going to be perfect. I'm not expecting it of myself or anybody else, but we can all be better. We can all be better than we were yesterday, better than we were last year, and just always strive to progress and not necessarily go for perfect. Okay, so I think that's important there as well. Don't set yourself up for failure by thinking you have to be perfect. Not possible, but we can be better, and that's exciting here. Because here's what happens if we're not. Here's what happens if we're not better. Here's what's average here. We all want to be better than average, right? The average person gains 1 or 2 pounds during the holiday season, but sometimes up to 5, okay? People who are already overweight tend to gain more than just a pound. And many of us have already gained that quarantine 10, 15 pounds over the last year and a half. Drinking, alcohol consumption's way up, just, food, snacks, like, a lot of people have been at home, so it's just easier to snack more. People have been working out less as gyms were closed. We built some maybe bad habits over the last year and a half. A lot of people have just gained a little bit of extra weight. And as we go into the holiday season, people don't generally lose that weight during the holidays, okay? In fact, quite the opposite. We get into January having gained a few more pounds, and then everyone's goal, the number one goal in January, is to lose weight. And so how nice would it be to get into January and not have to lose the extra weight that we're about to put on over the next couple of months, and actually start, a leg up on everybody else, and with a little bit of momentum on our sides to actually continue building health in the body and continue to getting into a better fit and healthy condition, rather than just making up for what a lot of people do to themselves over the next 2 months here, okay? But it's worse than just the weight gain, okay? So during this time, people aren't just gaining weight. The immune system is challenged during this time more than any other point during the year. And the reason is this: vitamin D levels go down. The sun is just not at the point where we're absorbing the normal amount that we should to be healthy, okay? So that's why supplementation becomes very important. More sugar and alcohol intake occurs during this time as there's gatherings. There's Halloween's about to happen, where it's the biggest candy giving out period of the year, right? There's parties, there's going on, there's Thanksgiving, there's all these different things that are happening to lower our immune system. People move less because it's cold, it's dark outside. It's harder to get up earlier in the morning and go for a run or go work out. Then there's holiday stresses. There's financial stress from like buying gifts, and there's these social pressures to, you know, be places, to give gifts, and whether it's this mental stress, and then there's these physical stresses, nutritional stresses. All these things make you an easier target for disease and infections. And especially during a time where, we're still concerned about COVID and getting sick from that, let's do everything that we can to boost your body's immune system, to make you harder to kill, to make you more resilient to disease and infection, and just kind of, again, not become a statistic, but becoming powerful, and just really tapping into our body's immune system to be great. And so the good news is that you control your destiny here. Again, you have the power to just create the health in your body and create the lifestyle that you want here. So here's the choices here. Number one, I put CNN and Fox on here because I feel like a lot of us would just benefit from just turning off the news. The dark side is scared. The news is depressing. I believe it just leads people to being stressed out, a lot of fighting with each other that wouldn't occur otherwise. That can lead to emotional eating and drinking, gaining weight. All these things create stress in the body, and we get this secretion of cortisol, or stress hormone, that over long periods of time makes us more susceptible to disease, makes us weak and easily manipulated. This is the dark side. This is what's happening right here. Throw out the TV, turn off the news, spend more time reading a good book, or how ways to build health in the body. Because the other side of this, the good side is where you're empowered in your choices that you're making. You're feeling confident in yourself and in the choices that you're making, and in your family. You're healthy, we're educated, we're strong, and more resilient to disease and infection, and we're happy. I don't think there's enough happiness. Spread happiness, like call somebody up, tell them you love them, that you care about them. Let's spread happiness this season more than anything. So I mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing a 3-week health Kickstarter. This is what it's going to be. It's called Find Your Momentum. It starts Monday, November 1st here. So this webinar is going to be up for about 3 days. We'd love for you guys to go onto our website and register, share this with a friend, and we're going to basically improve our health together during the period of right after Halloween to right before Thanksgiving. So doing things to actually move the needle and improve our health, so that when Thanksgiving does roll around, go crazy, go nuts, have fun, make yourself sick. I don't care, but leave Thanksgiving at that. Don't turn it again into this 2-3 month period where we're just stuffing our faces, gaining weight, and eating pie every single day. No knock against pie, love chocolate pie. But here it is. Here is the keys for healthy holidays. All right. Number one, have a plan. We're going to build your plan with that Kickstarter, but having a plan and committing to that. Minimizing sugar. So, sugar is one of those things that, it's so overconsumed that it's not just a, it's a double negative here. So sugar not only does anything for us, there's no nutritional value in sugar, but it also depletes our body of essential vitamins and nutrients that we already have. So it's like that double negative here. So we got to have a plan. We got to minimize our sugar. We also got to do things to boost our immune system. And we're going to go over these things briefly here, because I do want you to have a couple takeaways from this brief webinar here. But here's what you're going to build your plan around. And these are the principles of health. We're going to go over that in that health Kickstarter, but I'm going to give you a quick summary here. Number one is mindset. This is what you know about health. This is the principles that you choose to operate your health decisions around. Understanding what health is and what it isn't. Again, we want to focus on building health and not just minimizing stress and not just managing stress. Okay. So once you get the mindset right and you get that nice foundation, we want to understand, okay, now we can start building from here. And then the second essential is a nervous system. We believe that, well, it's not even a belief, your brain and spinal cord control every single function of your body. So for me, communicating this message to you, for you to hear it and interpret it, and to digest the breakfast in your body, to absorb these nutrients in your body, and to send these nutrients to every cell and tissue and organ in your body so you can continue to heal and function in our world, You need a nerve system. Your brain needs to send information to all these cells, tissues, and organs in our body for you to function. If we cut your spinal cord in half, you're immediately dead and life ceases to exist. So let's protect the nervous system. Your spine protects your nervous system. So as chiropractors, we look at the spine, we look at how to optimize the function and the alignment of it, not just so you feel your best, but that so you function your best and improve the functioning of the nervous system, which again is our master control system. So that's the nerve supply. We all need it. Let's improve it. Number 3, nutrition. We could spend 3 months on talking about proper nutrition, 3 years, talking on nutrition right here. But, we're going to try to keep it as simple as possible, but, eat real food and eat normal amounts of it, is really what it comes down to. And we'll talk about that a little bit in the Kickstarter as well, but that is absolutely an essential. It's just giving your body the right fuel to operate within the world here. Number 4, oxygen and lean muscle can also be expressed as proper exercise. Now, I know that not everybody loves to exercise, but how many of us would love to exercise? Maybe a few more hands there. But people ask, well, what's the best exercise to do? The best exercise is the one that you'll do, the one that you'll enjoy. And it doesn't have to be an hour in the gym, every single time. There's ways to improve health in your body with as little as 15 or 20 minutes a day, just doing the right things. So I'm going to challenge you and actually invite you over this next few months to increase the level of activity that you do so that, again, you can be healthier. And number 5 is toxicity. This is avoiding certain chemicals and more of the chemical stresses in our environment, whether it's additives in our food, whether it's, drugs, whether it's, pollutants in our environment. Some things we can avoid, some things we can't. But just taking inventory of what's in our environment gives us a greater sense of control so that, these things don't enter our body and start affecting our hormones and our body chemistry, leading us to a poorer state of health. So we'll talk about that as well. But these are the principles of health: mindset, nerve supply, nutrition, exercise, and toxicity. And we'll get into that in a little bit more detail, but I want you to commit these to memory here as well, okay? But again, I want you to have a couple takeaways here. So I'm going to mention a couple different things that you can do right now that'll start building health in your body. And number 1, vitamin D. Now, I know most people that come into my office do supplement with vitamin D, especially during this time. But understand that vitamin D actually, it's actually a hormone that is secreted in response to sunlight. But as we get into the winter months, we sit here in Morgan Hill a little bit below the 37th parallel, which means as the sun, moves a little bit farther away from us, we're not absorbing the vitamin D from the sun. So we do need to supplement during this time to keep our bodies healthy and to avoid things like depression and increased risk of heart disease, obesity. Low vitamin D levels are tied to so many different chronic illnesses that are out there. And even when it comes to COVID as well, we're finding that people that have higher vitamin D levels are having higher outcomes. So again, very simple thing. It's not very expensive, but you take vitamin D on a regular basis. This will improve your body's ability to heal and function. Studies show that people that are deficient in vitamin D are 10 to 15% more likely to be affected by serious diseases such as cancer. That list goes on to list heart disease, diabetes, COVID, all these different things. People have worse outcomes that have low vitamin D levels. So do yourself a favor, get some good vitamin D. We just talked about that. All right. Honorable mention, zinc. Zinc is great for respiratory. Okay, so this actually increases your immune reactivity. Deficiencies in zinc increase your risk of upper and lower respiratory infections. Okay, it helps the tissues heal a little bit more, making your body more resilient to disease and infections. So zinc is something I think during the holidays or during those winter months when there's a little bit more respiratory concern going around that everybody should take. So zinc, vitamin D, those are 2 things that I take every single day that I think they're actually sitting right here. There's mine. There's my vitamin D, zinc, every single day. All right, other principle we talked about was losing the sugar. Now Americans eat about 63 pounds of the high fructose corn syrup every single year, which is actually worse than sugar. 156 pounds of sugar each year as well. And then an average of 105 grams at the average Thanksgiving meal. So God, remember, I mean, just that alone, if you just reduce the amount of sugar we take in alone, you can radically transform your health. Read the labels. Okay, sometimes people get caught up in like the nutritional facts. You can see like up in this upper part here, there's these nutritional facts. But what I want you to do is actually read the ingredients here as well. There's a lot of different names for sugar. You can kind of, I highlighted a few of them here off to the side. It might not just say sugar, it could say barley extract, because anything that ends in ose, like dextrose, sucralose, things like that, fructose, those are all different types of sugars. Okay, so read these things because there's sugar in everything. There's, people tell me sometimes that, oh, I don't eat sugar. But we take a look at their breakfasts that they have, and then, they've got, let's say, scrambled eggs with some ketchup, and the ketchup's got sugar in it. They have a little, cup of orange juice or something. There's, sugar in there. Or maybe they put, some milk in their coffee. Well, there's sugar in there, creamer, there too as well. Or in, piece of toast with some jam or something on it. Well, there's sugar oftentimes in the toast, and and sugar in the jam. And just read the labels, because I swear to God, you're going to find there's so many different sources of sugar that just because you're not eating like candy or just straight like sugary drinks doesn't mean you're not taking in sugar. So just take inventory of what you're eating, because I promise you, you're going to find some surprising sources of sugar. So just read the labels, okay? I'm going to make sure that everyone gets this nutrition guide here as well. Again, what I was mentioning in the beginning, I want everyone to be better. I believe that setting ourselves up or trying to be perfect is unrealistic, and it just sets us up for failure. We want to just be better, go for progress and not perfect. I love this chart because it breaks down different categories of food and outlines it from worst to best. So let's just take inventory of what we're doing at home and then make a commitment to just be one step better. If you're already doing great, awesome, continue doing that. If you need a little bit of help, again, send me some questions and some feedback, but use this chart to kind of move, one column over to the right-hand side and something to just give that boost in your overall health here, okay? So, vitamin D, we talked about zinc, we talked about minimizing sugar, but now we want to talk about, tapping into the body's ability to heal and function. Your body is absolutely amazing. And, there's hundreds and thousands of different functions our body is doing at every single point in our day. I'm not going to read this slide to you because I started getting distracted just by reading it here, but just understand this. Your body is just so incredible, and it heals from disease and infection so quickly. And in our blood, there's so many different healing factors that are in there. And that's why we don't bleed out from a cut. And that's why our body can mount a response, when we're exposed to a virus or some pathogen in our environment. Tap into that ability that your body has. Your nerve system controls everything right here. So we want to improve the functioning of the nerve system. We want to improve the function of our immune system and our circulatory system. We want to focus on the things that build health in the body, okay? And so understand this. Things that take away from our health, you can really lump them into three different types of stress. There's physical, chemical, and emotional stresses. A physical stress would be something like poor posture or repetitive motions or, a car accident, something like that. Misalignment of the spine, that's another physical stress. We can make a list 100 items long of physical stresses. These can take away from our health and cause symptoms. Same thing with chemical and emotional stresses. Chemical stresses, we kind of mentioned, that could be, pollutants in our environment, that could be drugs, that could be alcohol, that could be tobacco. Those are, different things that affect our body chemistry and our hormones, okay? And number three are emotional stresses. Now, can emotional stresses cause physical problems? You bet. Ever had a loved one pass away or been in like a real financial stress, or you're stressing about an exam coming up, or just being like sick with worry about something in our lives? We've all been there. Emotional stresses can absolutely cause physical problems because it causes the same cortisol release in our body, that stress hormone that again affects the functioning of our immune system. It lowers our immune system over time. And so our body responds to physical, chemical, and emotional stresses the same way, by the production of cortisol, okay? So again, We want to build health in the body, not just manage stress. These are some of the warning signs of some, the stresses that we see. These are the things that I see commonly in the office, from, headaches, sciatic pain, people coming in depressed or, tingling, numbness in parts of the body, neck pain, fatigue, weight gain, colds, like decreasing immune system. These are the things that we really commonly see in the body. And again, all these symptoms oftentimes can be traced right back to one of these physical, chemical, or emotional stresses, or a combination of all of them, okay? So we want to, I'm going to say it again, we want to build health in the body. Don't just manage stress, we want to create peace, okay? So I believe, again, that, the healthiest you is the best gift that you can give your family in the world. We just got back from a flight recently, and, they were reminded me on the flight, make sure you put your mask on before you take care of your kids. Because, if you're not healthy, you can't take care of people who depend on you as well. So do take the time and the effort and the effort to build health in your body. Okay. I'm going to invite you to sign up for our winter survival guide. This is going to be our 3-week health Kickstarter. Starts Monday. If you're on this webinar, you're automatically going to get the invitation to the download. But this is going to be something that's going to be like a choose your own journey. And we're going to, my health goals may be different than yours, but we're going to be writing things down. We're going to be writing down our goals, writing down action steps, writing down strengths and weaknesses that you may have, that ultimately will create a framework that will empower you to really outline a plan to move you towards your goal. And so I'm really excited for that. And so if you have any questions, please, there's my email, there's my phone number. Please get in contact with us. But, take some action steps right away to build health in your body. And what we're going to be doing is, all of us doing this together as we, improve our health here in the office and at home. If there's somebody that you care about that lives in another city or state, invite them to do this, Kickstarter or this, health reset over the next 3 weeks with you, so that we can all keep each other accountable, and we can all grow together here, so we can create the healthy communities that we want. So thank you for taking the time to listen to this today. I look forward to sharing some more content with you, and getting better and more efficient and at me delivering this here as well. I've got so much I want to share with you, but I don't want to take so much time in doing it, but I also want to find ways to be more effective and keep you entertained, not entertained, but more engaged during this as well. So I'll get better at doing this. But I appreciate you being on here today, and you guys have a safe, healthy, and blessed weekend here. All right. Okay. Bye.